This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, it is Monday, December 22nd, Christmas Eve. We are here. I'm here, at least. I'm not sure about Ironhead. He's already got to have one foot out the door, but we will do our best. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. My weekend began with a troll job by Keith Olbermann, who came at me on Twitter because I was tweeting about the buffoons in Rhode Island, and we will get to them. We're not done with them. And then about 12 hours later, I got a like from Elon Musk. I saw one of my tweets just explode. I said, what the hell? And Elon Musk liked it to his 230 million followers. He has twice as many followers as the second person on that list, who I forget at this point who that is. It's like Katy Perry or Kim Kardashian, or maybe it's Nicki Minaj. She's got a lot of followers and a lot of influence, and now she is hardcore MAGA. That was good to see over the weekend from Phoenix, where they had that amazing event, AmFest. 30,000 people, 30,000 patriots showed up, and there was a little infighting, which I'm fine with. We like infighting. We're independent thinkers. We have disagreements. We're not like Democrats. We don't all get in line and do what we're told. So there was a little bit of feuding going on with Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro and Steve Bannon, and I enjoyed every minute of it. We like a good fight. They're all going to support J.D. Vance in 3 years, and Erica Kirk gave the official endorsement of Turning Point USA over the weekend, yesterday, for J.D. Vance in 2028. So we're not messing around. Everyone's going to get behind Vance, and he's going to be a spectacular candidate. And all I can say is, bring it on. I don't care who it is. If it's Kamala Harris, we're going to do that again. Gavin Newsom will have his hands full just defending his disastrous policies in California. Forget all the national issues. Every time he goes on the debate stage or before the media, they have to say, tell us what you've done in California that will work for the rest of the country. You can't be a governor, just an absolute, a mess of a governor in your state, and then tell everyone you want to do that for the rest of the country. That won't work. But anyway, we got time for that. You know what else happened over the weekend? Late? Well, not late. Friday afternoon, we finally and at last got the Epstein files, almost 20 years after the prolific pedophile was arrested down in Florida. We got to see some of the photos we've been waiting for. And all I could say is one president, two-term president, an icon in his political party, is a national disgrace. This is amazing to me. Bill Clinton is still a man in good standing with the Democrat Party. Hell, his wife was the nominee. She still appears on talk shows and people treat her with respect. She's the one that maligned anybody who accused Bill Clinton of infidelities, of inappropriate behavior. She would attack the women. She was part of the bimbo eruption squad. It was her full-time job, attacking victims of her husband. Here's just a few of the photos we got to see over the weekend. Bill Clinton took a trip to Africa with Jeffrey Epstein. There's a photo of Bill Clinton getting a massage from a child. He was president. Again, he's still out there. He's still treated with utmost respect by Democrats. But get me the photo in the hot tub, or in the hot tub, I believe. There's a hot tub, there's a pool. He's swimming around with Ghislaine and a victim. The law that Congress passed last month against Trump's wishes, Democrats insisted we release these files. And the law says you can only redact the face of a victim of an underage girl and a victim. Hell, all the underage girls are victims. So this person in the hot tub with Bill Clinton laying there with his hands behind his back, you can see the black box covering the face of the girl in the hot tub with him, that is a child. That is a victim right there. This is the elderly, perverted former president kicking back in the hot tub with a child. And what were the questions over the weekend from everybody? Here he is swimming around with the victim and Ghislaine. Is Ghislaine topless in this? I was trying to figure this out. She's got
doesn't appear to be, no.
She was very proud of those headlights in many of these photos, showing them off. This woman is sick. She's doing 20 years. I know it's easy time. For some reason, she got transferred to minimum security. She has a therapy dog, and she's very comfortable in her new confines in Texas. But she is a sick woman. She preyed on these children, didn't just deliver them to Jeffrey Epstein. She abused them herself. I hope she dies in prison. She seems to be getting along great with Bill as they swim around the pool. But back to the photo in the hot tub. I know we do this all the time, and it's kind of getting old. But can you imagine if this were a two-term Republican president, Donald Trump, in a hot tub with a child, kicking back like he's pretty satisfied with what's going on in the tub? Can you just imagine if that were Donald Trump? If it were, we'd have seen this picture a long time ago, of course. I mean, it's the answer to everything. Why, why didn't we see these photos during the 4 years of Joe Biden when they did everything to end Trump's career, to just finish him? They wanted to put him in prison for life. They wanted to bankrupt him. They took him off the ballot. They shot him. They did everything. They sued him, and they stopped short of releasing compromising photos of Bill Clinton, of Donald Trump with children. There can't be a photo like this. I know there's a lot of people online trying to post photos and pretend he's with. There's a photo of Trump with his daughter, and they black out her face, and they say, look, Trump's with a young girl. Yeah, it's Ivanka. It's Ivanka. They don't have him. And now they're going nuts because they say a photo of Trump was deleted, that they don't have everything. The two congressmen who were leading this charge, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, are threatening to sue and file articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi if we don't get every last photo. I'm all for it. Do it. Release it. In the end, keep this in mind. Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat. He made 98% of his contributions to Democrats. He went to the White House 17 times during Bill Clinton's terms. How many times has he been there to visit Donald Trump? 0. We know Trump disowned him, and we know what we're going to get here. They don't care about victims. You can do a search of any Democrat who's now railing against Trump and the cover-up of the Epstein files and how they really care about the victims. Do a search. You name it. Jamie Raskin, Seth Moulton, any of them. See how many times they demanded the release of the Epstein files from 2021 to 2025. You will get 0. They did not care. They do not care. It is all about getting Trump as always. And the media's on board as always. I'm just looking at the AP story. This is the Associated Press, supposed objective reporting outlet, and their coverage. When the files were released, I checked this out right away. AP, they write, at least 16 files disappeared from the Justice Department's public webpage for documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, including a photograph showing Donald Trump less than a day after they were posted, with no explanation from the government and no notice to the public. All right, that's the first graph. I go down the second graph, third paragraph, fourth, fifth, sixth, and I'm looking. Obviously, the bombshell is that Bill Clinton, what you're looking at, with a child on his lap. Yes, the former president, still an icon in his party. I get to the 12th paragraph. Still, I said they got to mention it at some point. Let me get down. I still haven't got to the mention. They do not mention Bill Clinton's name until the 12th paragraph. A president, 2 terms. They love him. He's adored. Is in a hot tub with a child, and we don't know if he's naked. We can't tell. Has another child on his lap, and of course, getting a neck massage from a child, from a young girl, from a victim. And they don't even mention it. That's what you're getting. When you hear anything about the Epstein files, just keep that in mind. I've been screaming about this for 10 years. Epstein got away with it for years. We still don't know why. We still don't know how he's made his money. We still don't know who was protecting him, but somebody was. Maybe it was the Clinton administration, but keep that in mind. They do not care at all. They mention Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, Walter Cronkite. Was in photos with some of the victims, and they don't mention their hero, Bill Clinton, toward the end of the story. Simply remarkable. All you're going to get is lies. I was really interested to see what how ABC would cover it. Jonathan Karl, I believe. And of course, it was about, why is this incomplete? Where's the photos of Trump? Where's the mentions of Trump? Never forget, ABC had the story. They knew all about it. They knew what he did. They knew who went to the island. They knew who was on the plane. They knew who was on this trip to Africa. And they buried it. They covered up, not for Epstein, for Clinton, for whoever else, for any of these people, for Michael Jackson, for, I don't know, Alan Dershowitz, or anyone else who was associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Here's Amy Robach, an ABC reporter, a few years ago, when she was ready to roll out the whole story, including interviews with victims and all the details of what was going on in Jeffrey Epstein's world. Check this out.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago.
Had it all. What she say? The palace threatened us. You know, they threatened them. They would keep them. They would not let them cover whatever the new whatever the queen. Oh, the queen, the prince, the king won't talk to us. So they wouldn't run the story about what she called the most prolific pedophile the country's ever seen. That's a big part of the story. Just how corrupt, just how utterly soulless these people are. ABC had the whole story years ago and didn't do it, didn't cover it. They were protecting powerful people, just like Satan does. Satan protects the powerful, and they were protecting all these creeps. And you know what's the most frustrating part today as we sit here with most of the files released? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. You know, when Democrats hold their convention in 2028, Bill Clinton will be there. Hillary Clinton will speak. They'll stand and cheer and say, oh, we love you, Bill. He was such a great president. He was a scumbag, and he still is a scumbag. They love their scumbags. And I think that's a theme for today, for this week, for the next 30 days. When is someone going to pay a price? When is someone going to be arrested? Many people on the right have made a list. We thought that there would be arrests. We thought there'd be accountability. That's what we voted for. I was convinced that Trump and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino would start arresting people. It's now 11 months, and no one has been arrested for anything. Comey, I guess, but then, the DC grand jury lets him off the hook. Letitia James, you can go now. No one involved in the January 6th setup, the sham January 6th commission, has been arrested. Nobody. Nobody's been arrested for COVID. Anthony Fauci is turning, just before Christmas, I think he's turning 84. He is going to die a free man. Anthony Fauci, who destroyed this country, shut down the country, forced the useless jab on children, on babies, for the pharma companies, to sell the vaccine. That's what he did. He was the greatest pharma salesman ever. He lied under oath over and over and over again. Nothing. No investigation, no hearings, no arrests. The list goes on and on and on. And you sit there and you say, why not? Why is the Trump administration, why is the DOJ? Hell, Trump's frustrated. He sends out 2 social posts saying, we need arrests. Well, here's what I've decided. We got a test case. We have a line in the sand. Ilhan Omar, there it is. She's the one. There's a movement now led by Randy Fine of Florida, a avid, rabid pro-Israel congressman, and he is going to force a vote to expel Ilhan Omar from Congress. Obviously, she should be expelled from Congress. Obviously, she should be denaturalized and deported. She lied on her immigration, on her visa application. She said she married her brother. She lied. In fact, she's lied repeatedly, as Alpha News out of Minnesota has reported. She changed her age to get citizenship. She said she was 17 and a child when she was really 18. So she lied repeatedly. Obviously, she's an awful anti-American congresswoman. We played you the sound. She says she's loyal to Somalia. She's fighting for Somalia. And you don't think she was involved in any of the fraud, which is now estimated to be over $10 billion. They've stolen almost $10 billion, and it's going to go up. It's going to be more than $10 billion. That's almost as much as the entire GDP of the country they're loyal to, Somalia. That is just an industrial scale theft from taxpayers. And these are her people. This is what they do. This is the culture they brought to Minnesota. And if we can't expel Ilhan Omar, if we can't kick this America-hating, subversive person out of Congress, what are we even doing? What are we even doing? To me, that's kind of a test case. Here was the report over the weekend. GOP, quote, actively considering forcing a vote to expel Omar. So they're actively considering. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to post some strongly worded tweets, maybe even release some really devastating documents. And then they're going to go on Hannity and say, enough, we're done with her. We're going to kick her out. And then nothing will happen. Then we'll get to January 20th. That'll be a year of Trump back in the White House and nobody held accountable. Does anyone have any doubt at this point how different it would be if Democrats had won, if Kamala had won, or if they win in 2028? They will stop at nothing. They will put their opponents in prison. They will shut down X. They will impeach Trump every day of the week. They will arrest Stephen Miller and Tom Homan. They will import all the illegal aliens who've been deported. That's what they do. They don't mess around. They put Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro in prison. They deposed Donald Trump Jr. for 30 hours over nothing. That's what they do. What do Republicans do? They make strongly worded statements. That's what they do. They threaten. They say we're actively considering a vote. So you're actively considering a vote? We need a vote. I'm not sure she'll be expelled. But we need to know who the traitors are at this point. We need to know why Congress has done nothing for a year. Done nothing. I think they've passed like 5 bills. Other terms, they pass hundreds. They do nothing. Trump is fighting. Vance is fighting hard. God knows, Stephen Miller and Tom Homan and so many others are fighting hard to advance the MAGA agenda. Congress does nothing. It is just so frustrating. And I feel like we got a month. January 20th, people are going to be so sick of this. They're going to be pissed. I'm not saying they're going to become Democrats, but they're going to be disillusioned. They're going to say, the swamp wins. The deep state wins again. If they can't start holding people accountable, because we know this, if they don't, we know what will happen in 2020, hell, in 2026, if they take the House. If they take the House in 2026, I believe they'll be seated first week of January. They will impeach Trump that day. For what? Who knows? They'll think of something. They will impeach his cabinet that day, because that's what they do. Republicans, on the other hand, they go on Twitter and they say, wow, this is bad what they're doing. These guys are crooks. These guys are criminals. And no one gets held accountable. Speaking of not being held accountable, we got to get to this Providence scene. Again, I had a good weekend. I enjoyed my weekend. I love, the first, a lot of good football, a lot of great football. We'll get to that. But I saw something that just sent me into a rage. It was in Providence, Rhode Island. And if this doesn't piss you off, man, you have no, or you just aren't paying attention to what went down in Rhode Island last week. We'll get to that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
here's something most doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't just disappear at night. It follows you into the bedroom. You can be lying next to the woman you've loved for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it's always done naturally. For situations like this, doctors look for treatments that help both the brain and the body. That's where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help prime the brain for arousal and increase blood flow. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in one mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your order ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiette.com/Newsmax to get 15% off your order. That's Rougiette, RUGIET.com/Newsmax to get 15% off your order. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. I was, like I said, enjoying my weekend, get up Saturday morning, enjoying my little feud with Keith Olbermann, looking forward to watching lots of football. I get online, get on X, my mistake. God, I can't stomach this. If you missed it at a Providence College basketball game, the crowd, find out how big that arena is for me, Ironhead. The entire crowd, from what I can tell, I got to find there's got to be some heroes in this crowd who sat on their hands, stood up and gave a standing ovation to this clown mayor and this buffoon police chief. Yes, these two, this Brett Smiley and Oscar Perez, saluting the crowd as all the people around them. He's got a sweatshirt on, the mayor. Providence versus everybody. Oh yeah, I could tell. Everybody's standing and cheering. And I have a question for everybody in that arena. What are you cheering for exactly? Could you help me out here? Some local reporter posted this and said, oh, it was nice to see a big ovation after a trying week. Okay, can just tell me, what are you cheering for? What did they do that earned them that applause, that reaction? What did the mayor do?
14,000 seats.
You're kidding. Nope. 14,000 people. We got another angle from the overhead cam thing, the screen. And it's like everybody, look at this, look at in the back. They're all cheering. Do they not follow the news? well, maybe they watched local news and they were all totally in the tank for these two clowns. But tell me one thing they did. One thing. You know what they did? They bungled every aspect of this case, as we've gone through already. They arrested the wrong guy. They told you there was no connection between the mass shooting at Providence College and the murder of the MIT professor Nuno Loureiro. I mean, I'm sure his widow, I don't know if she's online, she's watching. Imagine being the widow of Professor Loureiro and you see this. You say, wait a second. This guy this wasn't some criminal genius. I know he took some steps. He changed his license plate, changed out his SIM cards, but he went into a classroom, shot it up, killed 2 kids, wounded 9 others, walked out, got back to his rented Nissan Sentra and drove away. And 2 days later, killed a professor in Brookline, Mass. And the guys who let him get away got a standing ovation for what? Because they worked so hard. They were so tired. They worked well together. I want to ask everyone in this arena, what in the hell are you cheering for? Today, it was reported that the homeless guy, the only hero in this story, homeless John, who squatted in the engineering building where the murders took place, who tracked down, literally chased the killer down the street, noticed what kind of car he was driving, posted about it on Reddit. He did all that. That's the guy you could cheer for. We don't know yet if he's getting the $50,000 reward. We hope so. He tried to tell them, according to a report from Paul Loro on Fox this morning, he tried to tell them there was a suspicious character lurking, casing the campus before the shooting. Apparently he was there for weeks checking it out, making his big plan, shoot up the school, walk away. Again, we've gone through the missteps. There was no security in that building. There was no key card. There was no video. Why was there no video? We believe because they were told, they were asked by radical left-wing groups to dismantle the video because they might be used to catch illegal aliens. There was this idiot, this fool, Providence College president who didn't know why the kids were in the classroom, who didn't know what was wrong with the cameras. They did everything wrong. Again, arrested the wrong guy who looked nothing like the suspect. A white guy, a veteran, arrested him. And then they said, well, we didn't really start investigating till Monday because we thought we had our suspect. Well, whose fault is that? You arrested the wrong guy. You let him get away. You didn't listen to the homeless guy who cracked the case. He posted a description of the car and you didn't notice. They didn't even talk to him. He lived in the building, squatted in the building where the murders took place. He saw the suspect. He saw his car. And the campus and the campus police, they're the worst of all. That we've gone over that police chief, the Brown College police chief, that fool, didn't know he was there, didn't talk to him, didn't notice that he posted on Reddit. That's the kind of real hardcore police work we witnessed. And yet they give a standing ovation. I guess the thought that they would lose their jobs is out now. They're going to vote for this fool. This mayor who's married to a man and marches in all the pride parades. Got that going for him. And this police chief who does half his press conferences in Spanish. God, it is just so maddening. There are 3 kids in Brookline, Mass. with no father because they let the killer get away. They let him escape after shooting up a classroom. They didn't even know who, at the time they didn't catch the killer, by the way. They didn't catch him. Let's get that straight. They found him. They didn't catch him. Claudio Neves Valente. Valente was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a storage room up in Salem, New Hampshire. These guys did nothing to end this case, to solve this case. They failed it by every metric, and they get a standing ovation. I don't know why I let this bother me. He's going to be reelected. Yep, he's going to be reelected. That clown Perez is going to keep his job, keep talking to the media in Spanish, and the families of the 2 kids, Muhammad and Ella, they'll get, I mean, hopefully they sue the hell out of the school and make some money. But they're never going to get any satisfaction. They won't even know why he did it. They're not even going to come up with a motive. They're just going to move on, take a bow, get a round of applause, and move on. But, all right, update on my question on why Anthony Fauci is, he's 85 on Christmas Eve. 85 years old, getting the largest pension in U.S. federal government history, and he's walking free. He's still honored as some kind of respected medical authority by Democrats. And I want to know why he's not in prison. All right. Speaking of not in prison, we got to get, I got so much here. Let me get to the big takeaway from AmFest. And again, the big event in Phoenix. Again, there were some infighting, some feuding, and a lot of talk about, not denouncing your friends. I've had enough of this. Candace Owens is a lunatic. She's a demon. She still says that people at TPUSA were complicit in the murder of their leader. It's the most outrageous thing. It's worse than what Alex Jones made up when he talked about the poor kids in Connecticut. Said it was a false flag. It was stupid. I don't remember hearing Alex Jones. That he wasn't a big all over he was the ubiquitous presence that Candace Owens seems to be. Her podcast is huge. We told you she got 4 million downloads last week when she did a show after meeting with Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk has done a lot of wonderful things. She's carried the mantle nicely. She was great over the weekend. She never should have met with this demon. And here's the defense you get from Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, that I'm not going to denounce my friends. Well, you don't have to say, we're not friends. I hate her. You have to talk about what she says and how crazy she's gotten. She literally has gone full Hassan Piker, or whatever his name is, or Nick Fuentes. Somewhere over the last, 2 years, she's gone full anti-Semite, where everything's about the Jews in Israel. You can't denounce that. You can't say this woman is sick. She's monetizing these insane conspiracy theories about TPUSA and the people who work there, and you think they were complicit in the murder. Here's Megyn Kelly at the AmFest event, which is hosted by Erica Kirk and Turning Point. The people Candace Owens is accusing of killing Charlie Kirk are all around her right here. This is their event. And they invited Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, and that's good. We want to talk it out. We want to disagree. But you can't denounce someone who says the people you're sitting with, the people you're hanging out with, eating with, she said they killed him. And you can't give a full-throated denouncement of that because you're friends? What? Your job is to comment on the news. This is big news. And I think we can all agree, we should all agree on one thing. Candace Owens has lost her friggin' mind. But no, Megyn Kelly actually says she wants Candace Owens to ask the questions. So she wants her to ask, did Erica Kirk kill her husband? When we know who killed her husband, we know the story. It's not that ambiguous. We know Tyler Robinson killed him. We know why. Because he was upset about Charlie's views on trans freaks like his boyfriend, the furry. We know all that. We know he confessed. We know his parents turned him in. We know there's DNA evidence. It is as open and shut as a case gets. But if Candace Owens said that, she wouldn't get 4 million conspiracy theorists to tune into her podcast every day. But Megyn Kelly defends it. Check this out.
It was fine. I don't think Israel had anything to do with it, but why did I have an obligation to stop Candace from asking those questions? I didn't, and I didn't call her out because I favored her asking them.
What? I don't know what, Megyn, What's happening?
She was absolutely expecting an applause break there.
I know. There was a few moments like that. Steve Bannon went up and called Ben Shapiro a cancer and just went off on Ben Shapiro, who hates him. They hate each other. And he thought he was going to get applause. He get none. But anyway, that's her saying, I favored her asking those questions. Well, maybe she doesn't listen to Candace, but Candace is asking the question, was Erica Kirk and the TPU people complicit in the murder? And Megyn Kelly says, I wanted her, I favored her, asking those questions. And Megyn can't believe people are turning on her, or people are questioning her. Again, these aren't just questions about, Tyler Robinson, what motivated him, or, how did he get up on the roof? She's asking, did Erica Kirk know about the murder in advance? Were they complicit in the murder? Was Israel behind it? Was the Egyptian Air Force? She's just totally making stuff up. You don't want to say, geez, we're just having a conversation. Here's Candace. Get me Candace. This is how crazy this woman has gotten. And again, she's got a huge audience and it's getting bigger, which is a little scary. But she's all 100% in on the Jews did it. Blame the Jews. That's her thing now. It's sick. Again, it's demonic. Jews. Now she's saying, this is all she does. Israel's behind everything. It's all Israel. This is textbook anti-Semitism. Blame the Jews. Here's what she blamed them for in her last show. Blamed them for slavery. Check this out.
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all Black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Relevant.
Of course, follow Ben Shapiro's page. Somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much, who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. That is Charlie Kirk.
She goes on. That's enough. Honest to God. Look at her eyes. She has got the craziest eyes, and she is just completely out of her mind, holding up the Talmud Jew. She goes on to blame the Jews for slavery. It was the Jews who grabbed my people and sold us in the Jews. Everything's about the Jews. And Megyn Kelly says, yeah, she's my friend. I want her asking those questions. Really? She can, she will. She's not coming back. She's too far gone. But she wasn't invited. I guess even TPUSA has their limits and didn't invite that lunatic. Tucker Carlson gave a speech. Ben Shapiro gave a great speech. He did. He nailed it and called out people who are making up stuff about Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. But Tucker came and railed against Islamophobia, and he got no applause. It was absurd. Islamophobia, it's not a thing. It's not. Anti-Semitism's a big thing right now in this country and this world. In the West, we know why. Islamophobia? Tucker, what are you talking about? Just bizarre. But Tucker, J.D. Vance was great. He was just great yesterday. He was kind of wrapped the whole thing up with a barn burner. And I just love when he just goes, he just sounds like a normal guy, smart as hell. He doesn't care. He swears. He doesn't care who he upsets. Gave a great, resounding speech that the crowd loved. And Erica Kirk said they're endorsing him, and I am too. I cannot wait to see him debate whoever, Kamala, Gavin, I don't know, maybe Tim Walz. Maybe Tim Walz will be the candidate. But here's JD kind of wrapping it all up at AmFest yesterday.
But ask yourself, what do all of these people have in common? And the unfortunate answer is they are puppets. They don't actually matter. They are cogs in a machine that wants to make you poorer, that wants to make you less powerful, and wants to make you less safe in the country your ancestors built. And while President Trump and I are doing everything we can to break that machine, the left is still there, my friends, and they are still very powerful. Don't delude yourselves. It's the activist groups who want to poison your kids with hormone replacement therapy and toxins in your water supply. It's the corporate boardrooms pushing diversity quotas while whining about the fact that Donald Trump won't let them ship American jobs overseas anymore, and boo-hoo to that. It's the rogue district judges who issued nationwide injunctions every time the president lifts a finger. It's the Soros DAs who cheered on as their cities burned. What unites them? They win when our country loses. They get rich when you get poorer. They hire the illegals that they bring in to take your jobs. They drink fine wine in the countries they ship your jobs to. They censor you because they'd rather destroy the Constitution than risk losing an argument. They bring in millions of voters because they know they can't win the argument with the people who are already here. And you know what else unites them? We are going to kick their ass next November and every year after that.
Yeah. Crowd just went nuts. He's going to be a great candidate. Get ready. It's going to begin right now. Right now. The mainstream media right now in their boardrooms, in their meetings, on their Zoom calls are saying, we have to shift from Trump to Vance. We have to concentrate our energies in stopping Vance. Because if you stop Trump right now, just say he got impeached, or say, they killed him. There's your president right now. You don't win. We get that guy who's in lockstep with Trump. You get that guy, and you're going to get that guy in 2029. I hope for 8 years, hopefully. And I look forward to him on the campaign trail. He's ready. He's got the energy. He's young. He's smart. He's tough. He's going to be good. But he's going to have a lot more material because you know what what's not going well for Democrats? First of all, you have the massive fraud in Minnesota, and not just Minnesota. You got it in Maine too. You got it everywhere. They imported people. And again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. If they just imported people who are a drain on society, who are collecting welfare and food stamps and free housing, that was bad. But that wasn't enough. They had to start stealing, and stealing in a big, big way, as we learned in Minnesota, and we're learning in Maine and other places, and Massachusetts. I mean, they're defrauding the system. And who are they stealing from? They're stealing from the poor, hungry, kids with autism, disabled, elderly. All the people Democrats purport to represent, to protect, are now being robbed by people they brought into the country and to whom they gave everything. And I think there's just this incredible ingratitude that you can't help but just get enraged over. You've given them everything. We know we've spent billions on everything, hotels and Ubers and food. And that's not enough. They have to steal, and they have to steal so they can buy cars and houses and fly home, send home to fund Islamic terror. That's an issue in 2026 and 2028, a big issue. People are getting a closer look at just the insanity in these blue cities, the insanity that Democrats have elected into public office. Here's Keith Ellison, the Attorney General in Minnesota, just a proud member of Antifa, by the way. We have an Attorney General, a top law enforcement official in a big state, who's a proud member of a terrorist organization. But that's not all with Keith Ellison. He has met with the fraudsters in Minnesota. He's taken money from the fraudsters. He's supposed to be enforcing the law. He was looking the other way while his core constituents were stealing billions from Minnesota taxpayers. But he had a big victory last week. He was very proud. He sued Kia and Hyundai. Why? Because people were stealing Kias and Hyundais. Wait, you say, wait, hold on. They're stealing their cars, so he sued the company? Yes. He said the cars were too easy to steal. So instead of railing against car theft and saying we want to increase the penalties, the punishment, imprison the car thieves, we're going to sue the company that made the cars. That actually happened in a blue state. And he won. He won, and he was very proud. Here he is, taking a victory lap.
Instead, Kia and Hyundai put their profits ahead of vehicle safety and ahead of people. Within months of the Kia Boys Challenge, we had a crisis on our hands, a public safety epidemic of vehicle thefts, financial harm to consumers, injury, and tragically, even deaths. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a settlement with automobile manufacturers Kia and Hyundai for their role in this costly, deadly crisis.
Is this not? I mean, this is a guy standing there saying her skirt was too short. You know, she deserved it. You're blaming the car company, and he's saying there was a crisis because the Kia challenge, that was kids stealing Kias, punks, criminals. He doesn't mention them. It's the car company. That's an attorney general. And we think that guy was going to stop all this theft, all this fraud in his state. That is incredible. You know what? Minnesota's lost. Let's just give up. Minnesota is lost. They've rigged the system, imported enough Democrats so guys like this will get elected in perpetuity. It's hopeless, but we can't let it happen everywhere in this country. We can't let this scheme Democrats came up with. Let's just import them, motivate them, register them, legalize them, and get them to vote for us. That's the game, and we got to stop it now. But let's get to, before we get to our NFL wrap-up, let's get to the mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts, a city, big city, 90,000 people. The mayor is a guy named Brian DePina, and I'm not exaggerating. The mayor of a city in Massachusetts, used to be a big mill town, important city, cannot speak English. Yes, the mayor cannot speak English. Here he is at a hearing, Mayor DePina, at a hearing with a translator. There's your tax money at work. We need to pay for a translator for the mayor of the city. Watch this.
So I'm advised by counsel for the respondent that they indeed encourage this and had the substitution and have no objection and waive any objection they would have to the your services as a translator here. The division has a concern and has raised an objection based on the fact that counsel, much like me in my capacity as a hearing officer, don't speak Spanish, and therefore we're unable to decide independently whether questions are being translated both directions from the attorney and from the witness accurately. So I appreciate that objection. I do believe that under the circumstances, without objection from the respondent, we could proceed with your services. The risk is that there are many people associated with these proceedings, including the respondent himself and other people on the...
That is real. No, that's not AI. That is real. A mayor in a big city, good-sized city, who can't speak our language. And Democrats applaud that. Remember, Andrew Cuomo said they speak over 100 languages in New York City schools, and that's a good thing. AOC said the same thing. That's a good thing. And J.D. Vance got in trouble with the media because he said he wouldn't want neighbors who can't speak our language. Well, who would? Why would you want a neighbor you can't talk to, you can't communicate with? That's not a good thing. Having 100 languages in the school system is not a good thing. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem in Maine right now. I watched a hearing. This kind of went viral over the weekend, a hearing in Maine where they said there are some classes where half the kids can't speak the language, can't speak English in a classroom where you're supposed to learn. How do you learn if you can't speak English? In a related story, I'll just mention this quickly because it's kind of gotten a lot of coverage. In Pennsylvania, an old bus driver named Diane Crawford, an elderly woman on Medicare, Medicaid, was a bus driver, and she had a lot of problems on her school bus. So she put a little sign on the bus, said, "You must speak English" on the bus, because she didn't know what kids were saying. She said Spanish language kids were bullying other kids in Spanish. Made a little sign, said, "Just speak English." They fired her, asking kids to speak English on a school bus, and they fired her. She should have put a sign that said, "I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead, burn in hell." They would have promoted her, given her a raise. But that's where we are right now. Democrats supporting a country where we can't understand each other, where mayors can't speak English, where half the kids in classrooms can't speak English, where taxpayers have to spend a fortune on translators like that woman sitting with the mayor. All right, before we go, Ironhead, got to say it again. The New England Patriots are really, really good. This is one of the most amazing turnarounds ever. 4 wins last year, got rid of the coach. They're 12-3. They're going to go 14-3. They have 2 cupcakes to end the year, the Jets and Dolphins. They're going to win 14 games, which is a 10-game turnaround in the NFL. That is remarkable. And Drake May, here's my prediction. I'll be realistic here. Drake May is going to get some votes for MVP. He's not going to win it. Matthew Stafford's going to win it. Drake May leads the NFL in completion percentage. He's been so good. He's only got 5 picks, but here's where he will lose. He only has 25 touchdown passes. Stafford has 40. Stafford's been really good. Stafford leads the NFL in QB rating, and everyone knows him. I think the media likes him. I think they tend to favor the veteran who hasn't won it yet over the second-year player. But Drake May has been amazingly good. He was down 11 points in the fourth quarter. He was on his own 11-yard line, and he came back and won against Baltimore on the road on Sunday night. That was a signature performance by the young quarterback, the biggest Patriot comeback since, they were down 28-3 in the Super Bowl against Atlanta. That says it all. They're going to finish. They could finish with the number 1 seed, depending what Denver does in their last 2 games. But it's hard to imagine a season going on any better for the Patriots and for Drake May than this one has gone. May, he threw for 300 yards for the first time. Correct? Do I have that right, Ironhead? First time he's...
Yep, his best game was 294 yards until last night.
He's only got 25 touchdowns and 8 picks. Stafford, 40 TDs, 5 picks. That's pretty big. So I don't think he will end up winning the MVP, but he'll get some support, and he has been amazing. And they're going to win 14 games and have perhaps the first seed, at worst, I would say the second seed, and host a playoff game. And he is just so good. And here's the thing, and Chris Collinsworth pointed this out. There was no pass rush. They didn't get to him. He could stand back there and throw the ball, and he's really accurate and decisive. That's what makes a great quarterback. Accuracy and decisiveness. He's tough, he's fast, he's athletic, but the important thing is he's accurate and he's decisive and he's so good. And they have a quarterback and they have a coach. They didn't have a coach last year. They had a friend of Bob Kraft's, and now they have a coach, and they are getting it done. And last night was just another amazing performance. And I was glad they won, so we didn't have to talk about that pass interference for a week. That non-call, which was one of the worst.
We would have talked about it for sure.
Well, that was one of the worst non-calls I think we've ever seen. But they're going to just roll through these last 2 weeks and roll into the playoffs. They got a lot of injuries, but so does everyone else. Every team is banged up at this point. But it is just amazing how good they are right now. But we'll see what happens.
To see what Drake May does when he doesn't have a practice squad offensive line in front of him.
I know. Well, they did the job. Baltimore, I've never seen a team that needed a pass rusher more. They just couldn't get to him. He just stood back there and scanned the field, took his time, and as usual, threw the ball on the money. He is just such a stud. He is going to be a stud for another 10, 12 years, and everyone loves him. But we'll see. He's gonna win the next two. There's no drama involved there. Jets and Dolphins are pathetic. Bills held on, man. Held on to that one. I didn't think they were going to struggle to get past the Browns and Shedeur, but they did. That was like weird. Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now. Broncos lost. Patriots are the best team in this conference, but postseason will be interesting. That will do it for today, Monday. We're here. We're going to be here again. We're going to be here this week, at least for a couple of days. No one else is, just us, Ironhead. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and yes, we will do it again tomorrow.
We've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired.